Now, originally I had a script for this video, but number one, it was a ripoff of Seth, and number two, it was really bad, so we're just gonna do this freestyle. So, Project Zomboid, a very enjoyable game that I've been playing for the last 2 to 3 years, made by these guys at the Indie Stone, very swell people from what I know. A brief summary of Project Zomboid would be that it's a early access zombie survival game with light RPG elements and a crafting system. Now, when you hear this, you think, oh, so it's bad? But, it's not actually bad, it's actually very good, but I can understand why you would think that. Now, when you get into Project Zomboid, you start up with your starting screen. You got these guys just chilling out here, having a little snuggle. Then you get to choose the start of your game, how you want to play it. You could be in the woodland area, the townhouse area, the inner slums, anywhere you really want to go. Then you move on to character creation. And this is one of the most enjoyable parts of the game because it works on a point system. You take a good trait, you lose some points. Take a bad trait, you earn some points back. So it makes it so that characters are forced to be dynamic and interesting, unless you just want to have a very, not negative character, in which case you're not going to have a lot of points to spend. I think you get 8 at the start, but usually you want to take 1 or 2 negatives and then the others are positive, making your character pretty dynamic and interesting. Hey, maybe he's a really skilled carpenter, but oh no, he's overweight because he's been trapped in this cycle of the minimum wage job, and he's just been stuck there, and he has no time at home to actually work out. His family is always bugging him, so he just wants to escape into his little fantasy world and just watch movies to waste his time. A lot of choices you can go with in this game. And then you get into the game, and as you can see, these are the end times. Yeah, basically there is no end to the game necessarily, you just die, and that's the end of it. But the whole goal is just, you're a guy, you're in the zombie apocalypse, survive. That is your only goal, that is your only objective. You can achieve this in any way you want. Maybe you could be a mountain man and just stay out in the woods and just never associate with anything in the city. You can just farm out there, build your own house, just really enjoy life. Or maybe you want to risk it and stay in the city. Surviving in the city slums, it is definitely hard. Probably not as hard as surviving in, I don't know, Chicago or something, but it's up there in the amount of difficulty and survivability you need to stay there. Due to the fact that Project Zomboid is a top-down isometric game, it allows for a lot more mechanics because they don't gotta worry about 3D modeling and animations like that. So, let's just go down the list of some mechanics we have. Number 1, if you were to try and get into a house, let's see. Now, you have the front door you could try, but if it's locked, you may have to break it down, or you could try a window. If the window's locked, you can try and break the lock, or you may have to smash it open, but if you smash it open, you gotta make sure that you clean the glass that remains there, or else you're gonna cut yourself, and if you cut yourself, you're gonna need some tweezers so you can actually pull the glass out, and then you'll need a bandage to cover up the wound. Now, if you don't have any bandages on you, you could use your shirt, tear that up into some sheets, well, ripped sheets, and then you use it as a makeshift bandage until you can get another one. And then if you leave it for too long, you gotta clean out the bandage to make sure that the cut doesn't get infected. All of this spawning from just breaking into a house. Of course, there's also the base building mechanics. This is usually useful if you want to just live out in the woods away from all the zombies, because the zombie population is usually concentrated in the cities. So if you live out in the woods, you'll deal with less zombies, but you won't have the immediate food, ammo, and supplies that you have in the cities. So if you have a build that's made for farming and foraging and trapping, you can make it pretty well out in the woods. And this game will fuck you up. Seriously, I usually don't make it past the first day, mainly because you can just be doing well, doing fine and dandy, and then all of a sudden you make one wrong move, and you get bit, there's no survival. People claim that it's a 99% chance and you can actually no. Don't listen to them. You're never gonna make it. If you get bit, you're fucking done for. If you get scratched, that's like 25% chance of becoming a zombie, so you'll be fine probably, but yeah, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get fucked real hard. Your nuts are gonna be quaking, buddy. On top of that, Project Zomboid also has the emotion system / needs system. So if you look in the top right, sometimes it's gonna say you're hungry, maybe you're thirsty, but the most common one, unless you have a trait that states otherwise, is panicked. And if you're panicked, you don't shoot as well, you don't swing your weapon as well. If your character isn't equipped to not be panicked all the time, they're not going to be that good in combat, which is going to result in you dying. So usually you just want to avoid zombies because you're just always panicked. In one playthrough that I played for this video, I played as this man. He was a schlubby construction worker that was going to take the apocalypse by storm. And after walking around for a few minutes, I opened a window, a zombie lunged out, so I decided to try and take care of the zombie, but instead I got 2 lacerations on my arm after I missed my knife, and then I basically had to just quit the game. I mean, maybe I'm still alive, but probably not. Maybe, probably not though. Because most of the start of the game might just be you walking around making sure that the zombies don't see you. Because if the zombies see you, they will follow you for a pretty long time, just endlessly following you. You just gotta really bait them and make sure that you're able to get around a house or something to try and get them off your trail, or else they're gonna follow you for really long. Because zombies have a smell, sight, and hearing system. So, if you start running, you make more noise, and then more zombies see you, so then when you run into new zombies, they're just gonna start following you. But if you try and sneak when you're already seen, you're gonna be so slow you're gonna get caught by the zombies. If you just casually walk, that's probably your best option, and just try and bait them like that. You can also get tired out if you start sprinting or running, so you gotta make sure that you check on that too. Probably one of the worst situations is when you have a horde behind you and your character is tired out and sore, and you have no choice but to walk. But don't worry, the average zombie, as long as you didn't turn up the run speed, they're not going to catch you if you just walk. That's just a pro tip from me. Oh, and that brings me to my next point. The game is very, very moddable. If you go to host a game, you can actually change a lot about it. You can change loot and spawn locations for zombies. You can change the properties of the zombies. You can change how long it takes for water and electricity to go out. Oh yeah, that's another thing you gotta make sure. You can live in a house for pretty long, but eventually the water and the electricity will go out. So you're probably going to need to put a saucepan outside and wait for it to rain so that you can collect that saucepan and then boil the water to make sure that it's not dirty over some campfire because the electricity's out, so you're not going to have your oven. There's so much into Project Zomboid that makes it an immersive game that is basically, if you want a zombie game that truly encapsulates the apocalypse, every little inch of it, you're going to want to play Project Zomboid. Now, it doesn't look the best, but it certainly does play the best. Actually, it doesn't play the best. It actually is kind of clunky to play when you first get into it. But this is the most streamlined that it can be. There's a bit of a scale that you can go to. You have the fun but not autistic and not very expansive, the fun but really expansive and also very autistic. On the end of the spectrum that way, we have Dwarf Fortress, and a little before that we have Space Station 13. And right before Space Station 13, we have Project Zomboid. Now I can only go as far as Space Station 13. Dwarf Fortress was too autistic for me to play. If you want a true zombie apocalypse simulator, then you're going to want to play Project Zomboid. And that's the end of the video.